Hello and welcome to another writing lesson. Today we'll be looking at the process of writing and how we can come up with a clear, accurate, professional essay. Let's start by looking at our writing rubrics. When it comes to answering the essay questions, it's important to understand that you need to work on your outline. Your outline is around 20 marks, so you need to include the ideas mentioned in your outline in your essay. Otherwise, some marks will be deducted. Remember, you should focus on the exposition of ideas and coherence, which means you need to read the question and answer what's required. It's very important to read the question and see what they're asking you for. Then you can expose your ideas, write them down, and make sure that they all fit together. And this is what we're going to be tackling in this episode. Remember, you're going to be assessed for the number of paragraphs, number of sentences, and how they fit. Remember, your paragraphs should be a minimum of 4 because you're going to have an introduction, body 1, body 2, and a conclusion. Again, you'll be assessed for spelling and grammar. Another main part of your assessment will be on your handwriting and the presentation of your work. Remember, clear and clean handwriting will show and reflect that you are a good writer and that you took some time to work hard on your essay, and this is what we want. Off-topic essays will get 0 because that means you did not read the question and you didn't understand what they're asking for. Let's get started. Today we'll be looking at the burger essay. Now you may be asking, what do burgers have in common with essays? It's a simple answer of layers. It's all about layers. So one thing, if you have a plain burger with just the bun and the burger, it's plain. It's lacking. However, you need all the components to make it professional and presentable. So let's look at the form of an argumentative essay. When it comes to the argumentative essay, we always start with our introduction. In our introduction, we have our hook and our claim. The claim is what we chose to write about, either the arguments for or against, including our opinion. We then have our first body where we are going to reflect on the claim and add reasons, explanations, and examples. In body 2, viewing the other side, the counterclaim, the opposing view, will be offering their explanations and examples, and we'll be adding a rebuttal, which is the way where we refute what they say. Finally, we have our conclusion. And in our conclusion, we have one of two options. We either summarize the whole essay, body 1 and body 2, or we can paraphrase the introduction. So let's get started. Remember, writing is a process, so you need to follow a number of steps in order to reach the final part of your essay. We always start with brainstorming. So when we brainstorm, we gather our ideas. Then we move on to the next step, which is drafting, writing the rough copy of the essay. After that, we'll move on to revising, to check the information and the ideas presented. We move on to editing, where we can edit our work for grammar, spelling, and so on. And finally, it's ready to be published. So let's get started. The question we have today is as follows. Deforestation is the removal of trees as a result of human activities. Some people are for preserving forests, while others are against. In not less than 14 sentences, around 160 words, plan and write an essay stating the arguments for and against deforestation, stating your point of view on the topic. Again, we're going to be discussing the arguments for and the arguments against, and most importantly, we'll be offering our point of view on this topic. So the first thing we have to do is to gather our ideas. Gather our ideas and organize them in sequence to make it easier for us to place them in our outline. So let's get started. The first thing you ask yourself is, what is my opinion on the topic? What's asked of you? Plan and write an essay discussing your point of view on deforestation. So obviously some people are for, some people are against. Where do you stand? What's your opinion? Once you establish that, you can ask yourself, what is my claim? So you can say, I believe that deforestation is the result of humans' bad choices. Try to think of reasons and examples for your opinion. Once you've done that, you're going to ask, is there a rebuttal? In order to write your rebuttal, you need to think about the counterclaim, the opposing point of view. How do you find it? Based on your opinion. So if you're with or if you're against deforestation and you think deforestation is bad, obviously the counterclaim is the opposite. So the counterclaim says here, or this is what we're going to write, some people believe cutting trees is necessary. Their explanation is that we need the land for building. Now, you may ask yourself, how do I write my rebuttal? Very simple. You write your counterclaim and your opinion on the counterclaim. So the other point of view, the opposing point of view, you write it down and you write your opinion on that point of view. So let's see. For example, here, the other point of view is cutting down trees provides land for people to live in. This is what other people think, and you're against that. So you're going to write your opinion on that sentence. So how would you say that? But, notice you're adding a linking word, but in return reduces the amount of oxygen they need. So you're commenting on that opinion, on the opposing point of view. You can use connectors to add more ideas. Connectors like moreover, in addition, to add to that. It's really up to you to be as creative as you can when it comes to writing. Now, let's put all of our ideas into our outline. We start with our introduction, where we're going to add our hook and claim. Our claim is very simple. Deforestation is the result of people's bad choices. Then we'll move on to the first body, where we will add our claim, what we just wrote about, with our evidence. So we'll say, deforestation is the result of people's bad choices. Why? Because people choose down to cut trees for many reasons. We'll add the negative reasons. Body 2 will be our counterclaim, the opposing point of view, what other people think. So they'll say, cutting down trees provides land for people to live in. And just as we worked on our rebuttal, we'll say, but in return reduces the amount of oxygen. Obviously, you have to come up with more ideas to add in body 2. That brings us to the conclusion. You can either summarize or paraphrase the introduction. And now, once we've done that and we have our outline ready, all you have to do is use your outline to arrange your paragraph. So you have to start writing your essay, the first rough copy. And you'll have something like this. This is what your essay will look like in the end. The upcoming step is to revise. When we revise, we use our arms, which means we either add words, add information, remove unnecessary words, unnecessary information, to move a sentence around, maybe move it to the beginning or the end or the middle, up to you, or to substitute a sentence or word for another. So let's use our arms to work on our essay. Let's read the first paragraph. Deforestation is the removal of trees and as a result of human bad activities. Here, I feel this is an unnecessary sentence or an unnecessary word. Instead of using bad, maybe I'll remove it. Let's keep reading. Many people are against cutting down trees while others are for. Let's see their arguments. Here, is my opinion there? No. So what I'm going to do is move the word bad and add my information, my opinion. I believe that deforestation is the result of human activities. This is my opinion. If you look at the bottom of the sentence, you can see cutting trees. Cutting trees seems to miss something, so maybe I'll add another word and I'll say cutting down trees. It sounds better. Let's move on to the next step. Notice that your paragraphs are not all indented in the same area. So here, remember to indent all your paragraphs. Make sure they're all on the same level. That makes us ready for the editing. Now remember, your essay can have a lot more revising to do. So work on that. See which areas need help. You need help in, or which areas you need to use your arms on. When it comes to editing, we said we use our cups, which means we need to focus on capitalization, capitalizing words that are names, the beginning of a sentence, places, months, titles, countries, all of these things. And the usage of words. Do the nouns match? Am I using nouns correctly, verbs correctly, etc.? Am I using the correct tense of the verbs? Does my essay seem appropriate? And then you'll move on to punctuations. Am I using my commas, my full stop, my exclamation marks, all of these punctuation? Am I using it correctly? And finally, we have our spelling. So let's get started and see if we can use our cups correctly. Again, we said we use our capital letters for names, months, the days of the week, beginning of a sentence, and a full stop. What about our commas? What do you think? When do we use commas? A lot of students can get confused about commas. Remember, a sentence is one idea. If you decide to add extra information, you can use a comma or you can start another sentence. Now, commas either separate a list of 3 words or 3 things or more, or they separate an introductory word, for example, in addition, from the rest of the sentence. Or they're used after combining words like but, nor, yes, and, yet, nor, and so. All of these words. So let's get back to our essay and try to use our cups. This is a paragraph here. Can you spot the mistakes? Try to pause the video and try to spot the mistakes. How can you use cups to edit this paragraph? Let's start together. Cutting down trees is a bad act that damages the environment. The loss of trees can cause climate changes and desertification. What do you think? Does this sentence seem appropriate or is it long? When should I add my full stop? What do you think? Cutting down trees is a bad act that damages the environment. This seems like a new sentence, so I should add a full stop. And the other sentence will be the loss of trees can cause climate changes and desertification. Now, once you've done that, what do you need to add? We have a new sentence. Here, it's not capitalized. Remember to capitalize the beginning of a sentence. So that would be capitalized. We'll capitalize the T. Let's keep reading. Moreover, cutting down trees or cutting trees leads to lack of oxygen and health problems. Moreover is an introductory word. And what should we add after an introductory word? We should add a comma. So we'll add a comma here and we'll say, moreover, cutting trees leads to lack of oxygen. Excellent. And this is the kind of thing that you need to be thinking. This is how you should be thinking when it comes to writing. Let's look at the next sentence. The main reason behind global warming is cutting down trees. What do you notice about the word cutting? Is it spelled correctly? Obviously, it's misspelled. We need to add another T. So we'll add the T. After you've done that to the rest of your essay, you're ready to publish your essay. And your essay would look something like this. Remember to make sure that all your paragraphs are indented parallel to each other and that they look professional. Your handwriting should also look neat and clean. This brings us to the end of our episode. In this episode, we looked at how to write an argumentative essay. We looked at how to write our claim, add it into an introduction, the hook, the claim, body 1, body 2, and how to add extra information. We also looked at how to edit our work and how to use our cups and arms. Thank you for watching.